Um, just back to the whole process and what's been floating around a lot in the art world, especially here. I don't know how it is in Berlin, but people have been really the main question that's been coming up, people have been wondering, how do artists create right now at all? Like,
Hmm.
how is there any way of creation? And I think maybe this project was born out of this particular question of oh, let's actually make a little experiment, let's ask a bunch of artists, and put them together and let them create and like kind of observe that process. That's how it's starting to feel for me a little.
Mm.
um, and I think it's a really interesting idea. I, don't- yeah, I don't know how I feel being in it, but but it's
Yeah, what I find interesting is that maybe we have a problem with that because we're both like working very spontaneously, and that and like as you're improvising a lot, and then I'm staging this work process already. So it's a bit like, okay, so I'm already doing that with the textiles to have like that kind of dynamic in it. Do I
Mhm.
really now also have to put like this interaction in it? Like,
Right. And I think the most art is actually we're not used to filming our process. We're used to we have our own kind of space, and even if it's a collaboration, you have your
mm,
own space of creation, and that and I think also maybe why our systems a little right now are reacting a little to this, to the being observed part or something, is that this usually feels like a safe space where you can just create and
yeah,
go in and out
yeah,
and
that's exactly true
it feels like a
because,
little, it feels like a little like a home, and usually
yeah,
it's physical venues, or we
mhm,
can create our own personal spaces, and I think that creational process is so crucial to any form of artwork,
mhm. And if
whatever.
you put that out, then you're killing like the whole thing again. Like,
Mm.
I felt I was really grateful that we got to know each other like this,
Right.
and like have like whoa our own thing going on, and then showing it, reacting on each other and stuff. And we're already so limited with this
Yeah.
situation right now. Like there's way more control and stuff from outside, from ourselves, like being like whatever, adjusting to this new situation. And then that even the only thing that is left, that even that we have to like kind of have controlled.
That's so
Yeah, I
interesting.
find that really, yeah.
Mm. That's yeah. Maybe that's where our insights are at right now, being like,
uh,
wait, do we have to be fully naked, like all the
yeah,
way?
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's definitely like selling ourselves. Yeah.
That's so interesting. I really wonder if I'm just so curious. I'm gonna be so curious, like how if anybody else has this conversation, or if it's just us being like, "Wow, do we like we feel it feels yeah, it feels totally exposed," which is not. I mean, I'm a performer. Like for me, that's totally technically I mean, exposure. That's the thing. Like for me, exposure is something else than performance in a way. But of
Mm.
course, as a performer, you're super exposed. But I don't know how it feels for you. I would be super curious how if and how that's different for you. But even for me
Mm.
as a performer, it feels being used to, people looking at me or looking at live performance stuff that I do where I'm even on stage or like in a stage setting. Um, even for me that feels extra exposed, like because it's the process, which is usually something that I it's almost this like honoring or like this sacred place that is
Mm.
it's a very mysterious and sacred space, and I feel by kind of documenting every step of that and putting it out into the world before it can even be something.
Mm.
What you were saying, you were saying it is as we kill it before it's even there,
Mm.
I hope I quoted you sort of right, but
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, sure. Yeah.
yeah, that it's interesting. Is the magic, can the magic still happen? Can we still have can there still be a little space for the magic, please?
Yeah.
A request to what's happening right now for the organization of this. Um,
Hmm.
we need the space for the magic, please.
Yeah.
How is that for you? Because you're not necessarily being used to like being looked at,
Well,
whatever.
expose or like performing, it's as I use a lot like the performative aspect of like having like installations activated as a workspace, and I use the workshop as like participative work, or the installation as a platform for exchange and like through a technique which I can share with other people. But it's actually also performance. Like people stumble into like a working process, and they are part of it. And all of a sudden, some people realize like, oh, I'm exposed here. Like if other people watch them like come into the exhibition, and they're like, oh, what's going on here? Um,
Wow,
and
that's so cool. Yeah.
so it's also playing with that, and sometimes it really makes me nervous also, like to combine this spontaneousness, to keep that a bit like the integrity of it, and then at the same time it's staged. So I also have to be careful with that, to keep a good balance, that it's not too much like being too tied up of like having it as a good looking installation. And I mean, people should like move freely and do their stuff. And but it's also maybe in a similar way a bit like making use of the situation of placing people on that stage without them really sometimes being aware of that.
Mm,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
that's
don't know.
funny. It's almost what you were just describing. It's almost what's happening to us right now. Like we're your
Mm-hmm.
participants.
Yeah.
um, that's
And
yeah.
we
But see, that's so cool. Like I think that's also where a lot of where we meet a lot, like where our artistry meets a lot,
mm-hmm.
even without knowing that we were going to be matched up. But I think it's
Mm-hmm.
kind of so amazing that we were, because for me the best setting in where I see my work kind of function the most is installation, because it's the space of, is it a performance, is it a concert, is it an art piece, is it a performance art piece, is it, there's this, it's this open space that can kind of hold almost every form of creation that is like live in the room with you. That's why I love installation. That's why I was super excited when I saw that you mostly work with installation. I was like, yay! 'Cause it's just I think people who work with an installation are a specific tribe of people who are like, where their visions work a certain way, or like their way of staging things work a certain way. And I was excited about that, because yeah, I think that makes a huge difference when you actually like work within installation. It's a different way of creating or seeing things. It seems to me. I don't know, but yeah.